There are some baseball games that the baseball gods, they just don't want you to win. There have been numerous times throughout MLB history where a play goes awry for a team and they end up on the losing side of the game because of one singular play. I'm sure many of you guys can think of pretty famous and, notorious moments in baseball history, like Bill Buckner letting the ball go through his leg and losing the World Series, the pinnacle of MLB sports competition, to the Mets in 1986. There are less, pressured moments like Luis Castillo dropping this little pop fly from Alex Rodriguez with runners on first and second. It's an easy pop-up, drifting away from him, but he drops the ball, as the famous call goes, and Mark Teixeira scores all the way from first base, allowing for a walk-off win in the Subway Series for the New York Yankees. On Wednesday night, the Mariners were going for a series sweep against the Miami Marlins, and let me tell you, the baseball gods activated the marine layer heavily against the Seattle Mariners. I don't know if I've ever seen more deep fly balls be suppressed by the cold Seattle air than that one night. We're taking a look at what I deemed as the Mariners' unluckiest loss so far this year. Now, there's not a lot of pressure to it. The Mariners are only one game below 500 because of this. It's not like we were watching Robbie Ray give up a 3-run walk-off home run to Yordan Alvarez again, right?
Alvarez launching.
Had to. It's one game in a series that we won, right? We lost 4-1. The expected batting average for the Marlins on the entire game was 214. The Mariners were only 12 points behind that. Our expected batting average was 202. Yet we lost by 3 runs. We all know where we're going to get to with this big play in the bottom of the ninth, but let's paint the picture of how we kind of got there first. We started off hot and heavy. The first inning, Teo gets up and he hits a ball 400 feet. The issue here, the launch angle. Traditionally, Teoscar Hernandez gets good exit velocity on most balls that he barrels. This specific one has an expected batting average of 720. It's a home run in 8 out of 30 ballparks. Yet this one is a flyout. And like I said, the difference here is the launch angle. Teoscar's highest launch angle value was 29 degrees against Alex Faedo in Comerica. He pimped this ball straight to left field. This one against Yuri Perez and the Marlins, not quite straight out to left. This one's basically in center field out towards the pen, and we know in T-Mobile it's pretty far ways away. Teo just got underneath it a little bit too much, resulting in a flyout. Fast forward to the second inning, Gino's first flyout, where it seems like this one could have been given a bit better of a ride. Launch angle is pretty high on this one at 33 degrees, 98.2 exit velocity, and a 290 expected batting average. Not very high compared to what Teo's was. A home run in 4 out of 30 ballparks. The Mariners just couldn't seem to cash in, the marine layer continuing to suppress Gino and the Mariners offense. We find ourselves now in the 4th inning. The Mariners are down 1. Luis Castillo just really didn't seem to have the control on the mound in this final game against the Marlins. Ty France hits a ball 378 feet, launch angle 26, with an expected batting average of 450. Not a home run in any parks, but it's another deep flyout. Maybe one that could have tied the game on a day game in Seattle. But since we're finishing off this series with a night game, the Mariners become unlucky once again. Gino's back up in the 5th inning, and you'll never guess, Gino manages to have another flyout, 386 feet, 99.8 exit velocity, and this one a little bit faster than the first one, with a higher expected batting average. I'm not sure what Gino did to make the baseball gods mad at him, but this string of, flyouts from Gino, it's comical to a certain degree. But he went deep in the first game, so the power is there for Gino. He took the Marlins' big fly, and you were just waiting for him to break out and have that moment again in Game 3. Now, going into the 6th inning, this is where the voodoo really switches. Jorge Soler gets a hold of a Luis Castillo pitch that should not be anywhere near the zone towards Jorge Soler, because we know what he can do with it. 109.8 exit velo, a 20 launch angle, 409 feet. Not that much further than Teo's, but a 920 expected batting average, and it's a home run in 16 out of 30. The marine layer decided to lift up a little bit, it seems, for Jorge Soler in that 6th inning. The Mariners are now down 2-0. I heard this really weird thing, though, that if you guys subscribe, it'll bring the Mariners good luck. I don't know. Now, how can it be an unlucky MLB game without talking about the umpiring? Sean Barber, home plate umpire for Wednesday's game, actually favored Seattle by 0.65 runs in terms of his balls and strikes. Taking a look at his accuracy, he's 98% ball accuracy, it's good, but his called strike accuracy is 83%, below league average. We take a look here, a lot of these calls, there's 2 for Castillo, there's that 2.2 there, bottom of the 4th, Yuri Perez to Kalanick, 2 outs, runner on second, 2-1 count, ball is called a strike, that puts it at a 2-2. If we take a look at league averages in terms of pitch count from Baseball Reference, a 3-1 count league average is 366 with a 1,419 OPS. On a 2-2 count, those numbers are like axed in half. The OPS is reduced essentially like 3 times. That call was pivotal. It was still a 1-run game at that point. Not saying JK is hitting a bomb, but there's another moment later in the 7th inning against Dylan Floro where the same thing happens. Jared finds himself in a 2-1 count and he takes a changeup low and out of the zone. This pitch is called a strike. A 2-2 count again where Jared should have been 3-1 and Jared strikes out in this at bat. At this point the Mariners were down 2 and they're running out of outs essentially. These 2 calls to the same guy, a guy that has been clutch for us in the past, who's having a really good year. Just unlucky for the Seattle Mariners in this game. And albeit it's limited sample size here, but Jared in a 3-1 count, he's batting 500 this year. In a 2-2 count, 270. So the difference there is quite large and could have made a difference at the end of this ball game. Now, as the Mariners' luck continued to run out, we did give up 2 more runs in the 8th inning. Justin Topa did not seem to have his best stuff, gives up 2 runs on a Nick Fortes double, making it a 4-0 game, setting up what would be the dramatic end of this ball game, one that I can't really ever remember something similar happening. AJ Puck is on a pitch to the 9th, he gets Julio out, but he allows Ty France to get a single, and then Teo gets on by a Luis Arraez error, and then Jared gets on by a Luis Arraez error, meaning that the bases are juiced for Gino, the guy that has flown out to the warning track twice, been robbed of what could have been home runs or extra base hits twice. And what does Gino do? He laces a ball from AJ Puck out to right field, where Jesus Sanchez sizes up the wall, and he makes a leaping grab. He prevents a game-tying grand slam with 1 out in the bottom of the 9th inning. The Mariners get a sac fly here, and that would be the rest of the ball game, as Cal Raleigh does not take AJ Puck deep. Now let's take a look at these stats on this sac fly from Eugenio Suarez. This one is his best one yet in terms of home runs per ballpark. 11 out of 30 are not holding this one in, unless Jesus Sanchez is at that wall waiting to catch it. It is almost unbelievable how well Jesus Sanchez played this ball. A 450 expected batting average, a 98.1 exit velo, 30 launch angle. It went 372 feet, but had it gone 373, it might have outstretched Jesus Sanchez's glove. Instead, it ends up in the webbing, and the Mariners lose what I deem as their most unlucky game of the year. You take a look at the scorecard in terms of balls and strikes, favor the Mariners by 0.65. I think that has a lot to do with the Marlins outfield defense, preventing those balls from landing. Had those balls landed for extra base hits, who knows what could have happened. There could have been a completely different ball game had these ones landed in. And of course, a game-tying grand slam would surely rattle AJ Puck and the rest of the Marlins bullpen. I would have 100% faith that the Mariners would luck out and win that game, but instead they rolled snake eyes too many times and their luck had run out. Not that they had any to begin with, and making sense of this game, it's honestly almost just as hard as making sense of the entire regular season, which is what I tried to do in this video on the screen right now. If you haven't seen that one, please check that one out, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. Thank you guys for watching, and go Mariners.